Welcome back to this week's episode of Real Talk. I am so thrilled for today's guest. Kjersti is going to be joining us from Norway and sharing about her experience in North Dakota. There's really no more random state in the United States than North Dakota, but you're really going to fall in love with it after hearing more about her exchange story. We'll be right back with Kjersti. Welcome back to Real Talk, everybody. It is so good to bring Kjersti here with us today. She's calling in from Norway. Originally the class of 2017, having spent her year in what is considered actually the middle of nowhere, North Dakota, but very much a special place for you. Welcome to Real Talk.
Hi, thank you.
I am so excited. I mean, it has been so long since we've chatted, and we were talking earlier that when you first found out about North Dakota in the beginning of your experience, it obviously had an adjustment period, but we'll get into that in a second. Why did you decide to go on exchange? I mean, a lot of Norwegians go to the US, but why did you pick to come?
You know what? I always like to travel. I've always enjoyed going on vacation with my mom and dad. And then I got into my grandma. She actually went on an exchange year in like 1960s or what, and then she talked a lot about it. She's still in touch with her host mom, and she told me all about it. Then my aunt went to Australia for an exchange year as well, and I think it's just all the people around me just kind of just made me want to go, and that's just how it started. I think just the impressions from the people around me. I think
That's insane. Your grandma must have been one of the first exchange students then, if she went in the 60s.
And her story is just crazy. She got there, she had to take a boat. She was peeling oranges and carrots and potatoes and working her way over to Chicago, where she stayed for a year. So, yeah.
So quite a bit different than you getting on an airplane and coming to the U.S. in 2016 when you first landed. But before you even got on a plane, you found out that you were going to be living in North Dakota. Had you, in your mind, was that a state? Did you know where it was?
You know what? I actually practiced all the states in the United States, so I knew where it was. I knew where it was, but I did not know anything about it. So when I first found out that I was going to North Dakota, I was pretty terrified. I think I just shed a tear too, when I found out where I was going, because the first thing I did when I did find out that I was going to Fargo was to Google Fargo, North Dakota, and what I did see was buffaloes and acres, and that was pretty much it, and pictures of a lot of snow. So I was expecting buffaloes, acres, and snow when I found out that I was going to North Dakota, which made me really, really scared that I was not going to enjoy my year. And that was really sad. I regret thinking that now, after my exchange year, but that was what I thought first, so.
And I mean, there's nothing else you would have known unless you saw the show Fargo, which is probably not also helping your case to go to North Dakota. But, I think it's awesome that you still decided to take on this adventure, and you showed up and, started meeting your family and going to school. And we talked a lot during that time. What was it like when you actually started school and started to experience Fargo in the beginning?
When I first got to my school, I was really nervous. I had a host sister. She was in the same grade as me, so that was kind of like a safety that I had, but we did not have any classes together. Yeah. So I was kind of on my own when I got to school, and kind of terrified. Took a little bit of time before I knew what I was going to do while in school, like what kind of activities should I attend. But people were so nice. They were like, you can sit with us at lunch. And I was between a lot of different groups in the beginning. But it was kind of terrified not having anyone to be with all the time. So I felt alone in the beginning too. That was kind of scary. Yeah.
You know, I actually remember your Real Talk video when you were a student ambassador, and I think you were like in the hallway of your school filming, talking about your first day of school and how much trouble you had with the lockers and what it was like getting through the hallways. And of course, like that was, what, September or October of your year, and here we are 2 years, wow, 2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah,
crazy.
When you first started experiencing that. And I know that you said you had some issue with sort of getting in touch with friends, but then something happened, and I remember this day. We were actually, I think, on a web chat. Something happened where all of a sudden North Dakota started to feel like home. Tell us a little bit about that sort of shift from buffalo and acreage to home.
I know. I think it was, what was that? That was like, I got this feeling of thinking that I was going to leave North Dakota, that I was thinking someday I have to go home, but then I'll leave my second home, you know? Because I did a lot of like, I thought a lot about, in the beginning of my exchange year, I thought a lot about next year when I was going home, you know, because I kind of looked forward to it, because I didn't really felt that I was in the right place in the beginning. But then as the year went on and on, I was thinking, I don't really want to go home, you know? I just want to be here a long, long time, because when I go home, I have to leave a part of me here, you know? Because that North Dakota, Fargo, is my second home right now. And I still feel like that. I visited them back this summer. This year, I went back there, and I cried just as much when I left them this year as I did when I left 2 years ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it's fantastic whenever we sort of feel at home. And it's funny because we ask this question sometimes to people and they have a hard time putting it into words, but a lot of people just pause because you can almost see in their mind, they just feel like, you know.
Yeah, I get goosebumps talking about it right now.
Like, did you ever think you would say you get goosebumps talking about North Dakota?
No, never, ever. Never.
And I think then there was a moment, you know, last year, or wow, 2 years ago, where you found out that some people weren't really excited about going on exchange anymore because they found out that they were going to North Dakota and they wanted to back out and cancel going on exchange. And your response was amazing. So what did you do when you started hearing about this?
You know, I heard about, there was a story about this boy. He was from Norway too, actually. And I mean, in Norway, we do experience a lot of cold weather. Like me too as well, did really want to go to California or Florida, somewhere warm to like have this great year there. And then that was when I was in Fargo, and I kind of, after I fell in love with the place and the people, I heard about this story about this boy from Norway. And that he actually got a note from his doctor saying he couldn't go to North Dakota because it was cold. Too cold, right? It's so weird. I heard about that and I was like furious because I just remember thinking about how much I regret saying that North Dakota would be a boring place to be, you know, because it doesn't seem like a state who has a lot to offer. So when I heard about this boy, I was kind of like frustrated because I want North Dakota to be kind of pictured just as amazing as California. And also what I think that people kind of don't really realize before they go on an exchange year is that it's not like the state that necessarily makes your year amazing. It's the people you spend it with and the memories that you really create with those people. Especially for me, like North Dakota, it's not like California. You don't have like a lot of different people. They're all just North Dakotans, you know? And the amazing memories that you make with these people and the memories that you think about later, that's what makes your year. That's what made my year, at least, yeah. So I got kind of furious when I heard he didn't want to go to North Dakota because it was cold. Like, oh.
And then you decided to tell them about it, and you made that amazing video where you shared exactly what you just said, that it's not about the state, it's about the people. So like, if you could redefine what people found on Google when they searched North Dakota, what would you put there instead?
Oh.
I mean, fair enough, you probably should still put some snow and like acreage because that's still there, but...
I would switch out, like if I were to take away some pictures on Google, I would put some people who's smiling and happy and like family, just love, you know, just people who's loving each other and memories, and I don't know, just, yeah, make the impression of North Dakota become more about the people rather than, you know, a buffalo, if I could say so.
Yeah. I mean, I think there might actually be more buffaloes in North Dakota than people, but that's what makes the people so great.
You know, fun fact, I never actually saw a buffalo.
No way.
While on an exchange here. Yeah.
But you did see snow though, so.
A lot of snow, yeah.
If you could look back, it's been 2 years almost, and obviously you wish you would have given North Dakota a chance in the beginning, but you've learned from it. Yeah. What do you think has changed most about you? Like, what you, Kjersti, is different now compared to 2 years ago when you first moved to North Dakota?
I would just say the thing that I did with North Dakota was kind of like it before I got to experience it. And I think I've taken that with me when in other situations too, like experience things or people before judging them based on what I hear, you know, or what other people say to me. Like it's kind of my experience that weighs the most when I'm telling my opinion about something. So I think that's kind of what has developed, like me as a person, has taken what the experience has given me the most is to not judge people or things or places before I get to experience it myself.
Wow, that's so great.
Yeah.
And are you planning on doing something that allows you to really try that out? Like, are you planning to leave Norway again or take on a new adventure?
Well, yeah, I'm actually just like 2 months from now, I'm leaving Norway for 6 months, actually.
Wow, that's right. You're doing like a crazy world adventure. Okay, tell us, because I forgot all the stops.
Right. I'm leaving December 28th with a friend, and we're traveling the whole world, just like with a backpack and the two of us. And we're starting in India and we're just gonna experience and learn and get to know people and cultures and everything about the world that I haven't seen yet.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I can't wait till you run into like an American and start talking, because you do kind of have like a North Dakotian accent, and they're gonna be so confused. Like, who's this Norwegian that sounds like they're from the northern part of the U.S. in India?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually met a lady this summer. She was here in Norway, and she was from Europe somewhere. And her and I began talking, and she was like, so where from the United States are you from? And I'm like, well, you know, North Dakota. And she totally got it. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with it. It was so much fun, yeah.
That's amazing. And so great that like you have so much pride in being from North Dakota when, you know, 2.5 years ago, as you said, you cried finding out that you were gonna go there. I think you are a great example of what it means to just take a state and make it home. Do you have any, so, you know, I'm sure you have loads of stories, but I think just to give people a better understanding of why you think the people are so nice, like, what is it about North Dakotians that make them so great?
You know what, they're just really open-minded. They're like, the first day of school, just like inviting me to sit down at the lunch table with them, because, you know, I probably looked a little bit alone too as well, so they just welcomes you. And like just my family, my host family, they're the most amazing people ever. Just how much thought they put into me, like while I was there. But then just after I went home too, they just kept I got this big like package from the United States, and I was like, what is this? I didn't really like talk to anyone about anything like sending packages. And then I open it up, and it's like an NDSU college sweater for the college there, and then a big bag of something called puppy chow.
Yes.
Yes.
Describe puppy
totally
chow.
fell in love with puppy chow. I love it. And I hadn't really talked to them, or this is my aunt sending this. And I didn't really talk to her for a while, but then she suddenly just sends me this. And I'm like, my whole heart is just full with joy. And that's just how amazing these people are. They just, oh yeah, I cannot even describe how nice they are.
So it wasn't even your host parents, it was your host aunt that sent it to you.
My host aunt, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's just, yeah.
So you have to describe what puppy chow is, because that's actually a very like Midwestern, Northern US thing. So tell everyone what puppy chow is.
So puppy chow is kind of like, it's a cereal. It's like a breakfast thing, you know, that you put milk in and stuff. And then you blend it with chocolate and then powdered sugar. And then you eat a lot of it, a whole bunch of it. I remember Thanksgiving, we were eating this and we were all just laying on the floor after because we had so much, like our stomach hurts so bad, but it's just so amazing.
And it made it all the way to Norway, which is awesome.
Made it all the way to Norway. And it was like a big bag.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, sort of the last thing that I think is really cool too, well, not the last thing, there are many cool things about North Dakota, but your holiday experience. I think that you saw sort of the American traditions of Christmas and Thanksgiving in a really cool way. Do you want to share a little bit about what it was like being in that state for the holidays?
Yeah, well, Thanksgiving was kind of my, Christmas, we have that here in Norway too as well. Thanksgiving, I've never experienced it. I only like seen it on TV shows and like this big turkey and stuff. And we didn't really get the big turkey, so it was just like turkey that was cut up and stuff. But from the moment I wake up, I smell food. I go downstairs. There's my host dad is making food, and then my grandma and grandpa and my aunt and uncle came over with loads of food. Like, it was just food all over the place. And we kind of had our dinner at 12, like in the middle of the day, so at 12. And that's when we first ate our first big meal. And then, an hour later, we're just like kind of snacking on snacks, My aunt brought along like puppy chow. And then, suddenly they start pulling up these like sandwiches, like, yeah, let's eat a little bit more. And we were just like, is this like a midday snack? And then, yeah, of course. And then we had a sandwich. And then, at 4 or 5, we would have another round of the meal we had at 12. And then, we're snacking after that. So Thanksgiving was just amazing. It was just like food all day round. And I've never experienced and food in that big amount before, but it was so much fun.
And that your whole family lived like so close to you that they were able to come join you is really nice too.
Yeah, I like that too, yeah.
It's so great hearing you talk about these things because you're lighting up. It's been 2 years. Like, I don't know, have you talked about your exchange much in the last year?
I have not, actually. When I got home, I kind of discovered that people don't really know what I'm talking about. Like, puppy chow, what's that? And it's kind of sad. I wish I did talk more about it. Then people are, they don't really understand that much. But then as soon as I meet other people that has been on exchange year, like for example, 2 weeks ago, I sat down with my friend's sister. She was in Minnesota, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. And we started talking about tater tots. And we were like 5 people around the table, and she and I were the only one who knew what we were talking about. And it's just meeting someone who's been on exchange year and knows what you're talking about, like can get that same feeling that you're getting when you're talking about it. It's just so much more fun talking about what you experienced and your year, your whole year. So I wish I did see more people and talk to more people that did go on an exchange year, because they're more understanding for sure.
Plus, it's just like so relaxing, right? Like it's just so easy to talk to. Yeah, it's so nice.
Right.
And I'm really, really glad that you're able to join us and to share your story, because I think that it's so obvious how much exchange has changed you and how much it means to you. And there are a lot of people who are going to be really grateful to know that it's going to be okay if they go to North Dakota or someplace that they've never heard of before. So I just so much thank you for, one, sharing your exchange year with us in general while you were on program, and now joining us is awesome.
Right, yeah, same. Thank you for letting me join.
Yeah, of course. And if any of you have questions for her when it comes to the world of North Dakota, or if you're just a little worried about your placement state, you can definitely get in touch with her. You can write questions in the box below. But a huge thank you. Again, it's amazing when we can have these really raw and honest stories on Real Talk to look at exchange outside of California, outside of the warmth and roaming with the buffaloes in the snow. You don't want to miss next week. A big thank you to Kjersti, but we will see you guys soon on the next episode of Real Talk.